Hey, I wanted to let you know about I had to pull over and talk about it. I just watched a video on Knowing the Narcissist page, and it was called The Empathic Supernova. And I had seen this on his page a few times, and I'd kind of just grazed past it, but I ended up watching it today. I didn't know what it was going to be about. And it really, really opened my eyes, and I thought I would share it with whoever watches any of my videos in the future. The video covered the empath, the codependent, and the super codependent. The super empath, that as three main victims of the narcissist. And this was just such an interesting video because it was so intact and so accurate and so it really does describe what would happen in all three scenarios. I was a little bit confused about what was going on with me and who and what I had become and what I was doing. And it really helped me understand that. So I'll just cut straight to the chase. So the video talks about the super empath. Now, I did not consider myself a super empath, but you have to look at actions speak louder than words. So based upon my actions, I was a super empath. I kind of have a hard exterior. I have a tough exterior, but when it comes down to it, I'm always doing. My actions are always speaking that I'm very helpful, and I wasn't really understanding that. So I remember my narcissist. I don't want to call him my narcissist. I'm sorry. This individual, this creature, this thing, would always tell me, I don't know why you're here. I don't know why you're so nice to me and I'm so mean to you. And this was when we first started dating. Why are you so nice to me? Why are you such a good person? It doesn't make any sense, he would tell me. But I just kept being nice. I kept thinking, if I'm, like most of us do, if I'm really nice to this person, if I do a lot for this person, I can show him the good in the world. I can show him that there's people out here that aren't trying to use him, that there's women out here that are good. And you know what it is they had us believing that women weren't good. But we are good. I mean, I don't think the narcissist has had any victims that were terrible or awful people. But they, being the misogynist they are, they kind of perpetuate this error of women are awful. So I was like, I'm not that woman, so I just want to prove how good I was, and I would do all these awesome things for him. And I'm sure a lot of you did these amazing things for these evil people, and I use the word people very loosely here. So the video went on to say that what happens when the narcissist victimizes each of these individual clusters of people, right? So empath, super empath, and the codependent. And just briefly with the codependent, it kind of talks about the codependent can endure a lot of abuse, and their output of narcissistic supply slowly is depreciated, and eventually they're able to get out of the grasp of the narcissist and heal a little bit, but the narcissist always hoovers them back in, and they either get back together with the narcissist or they go and move forward to another narcissist and they're ensnared by them. Then I talked about the empath, which originally I thought I was the empath, and this fit rather closely. They go on to talk, Knowing the Narcissist goes on to talk about how the empath endures the abuse, and they're able to endure less abuse than the codependent, and eventually they kind of realize that there's something off about this person, or a third party may kind of open their eyes, and what happens is that they disengage from the narcissist and they're able to escape out of their snare and move forward and heal, or whatever it may be. Now, this is what really, really struck me, because I didn't know what was going on with myself, okay? I knew that I had I've always had a lot of self-confidence. Confidence is essentially what got me out of my physically assaulting, degrading situation, okay? It was a very harsh, physically abusive relationship during 2 pregnancies, back-to-back pregnancies. Some heinous acts of violence done against me. Now it talks about the super empath and how they can deal and put up with a lot of abuse. And I don't even know how I was able to put up with that much, but I put up with a great 14 months worth of physical abuse, and it was roughly about 20-30 times. And I know that sounds, who would put up with that? But apparently the super empath can. Okay, they are super empathetic. So I was able to deal with a lot of emotional and physical trauma. Now, what he goes on to talk about is how the super empath abruptly hits a point of no return, where the abuse was so severe that they snap out of it. Okay, so in this video, he doesn't specifically state physical abuse. That was just my situation. You guys might just have gone through the narcissist abuse psychological cycle, which is terrible. So I don't want to take that away from any victim. So what happens with the super empath is that they hit a point where they're refusing to take anymore, and they go into, he talks about how the super empath has more heightened narcissistic traits than the empath does, actually, and that they have more heightened narcissistic traits than the codependent does. So the gap between their empathetic traits and their narcissistic traits, it tightens, and their empathetic traits dim down, and their narcissistic traits, the light shines bright, right? So that's why it's called that's why he called it the supernova, right? So it's a dimming and a shining. And the thing about this is that they don't shine these narcissistic traits towards the world, just towards the narcissist. So they unleash a wrath of narcissistic traits and vengeance against the narcissist. So for me, I kept wondering, why am I being so vindictive? Why am I so set on delivering karma to this person? Why? But it's, I guess, the cocktail, the reaction. And I kept thinking, I'm doing God's work. I'm doing God's work. I'm delivering karma where it's due. I'm delivering, an eye for an eye. And it says, he went on to say that the super empath strikes with blow after blow after blow of narcissistic injury. And that's what I did. And it was just such a powerful video, and it kind of put everything into perspective. He went on to speak about what the different levels of narcissists do when this happens, and I was just shocked how on point it was. When I had enough, I mean, I hadn't ever considered getting the narcissist in trouble for his actions. I just wanted him to leave me and my children alone, or just me alone and have access to his children, but he would not leave me alone. So the last time he almost killed me, he physically almost killed me at 4.5 months pregnant. And I knew that was the last time he was going to touch me. And even after that, I gave him one last chance not to do anything again. And he broke into my home not even 3 weeks later and he was ready to attack me again, and I ran out of my house holding my big pregnant belly, screaming for help. I had called the police, and it was then that I unleashed my fury. That was I had already given him a last chance, and he violated again, because they will continue to violate boundaries. I got a restraining order, okay? I got a restraining order against him, injury. I prosecuted him criminally. I went to the police station and told them everything. Prosecuted him criminally, put him in jail, injury. I got Child Protective Services involved. I told them everything. I outed him to them. I told them the embarrassing acts of violence that he did against me and exposed him, injury. I called his work and I told them he was involved in a religious hate group that preached on the streets racism, and I sent the videos to his workplace, injury. I got full physical custody of my kids, and for the past year he's been on supervised monitor visits, rightfully so, based upon his craziness. It was injury. It's like I just wanted to injure this awful person. I wanted to do, in my mind, God's work. It just fits so perfectly, the video I watched, because in my mind, I know that the narcissist gets away with this bad behavior their entire life because people don't want to start anything with them. And when we're in a relationship with them, oftentimes we just do things to avoid the drama, or to avoid the backhanded comments or the physical backhand. So we just kind of bend to the rules, and I wanted him to know not to mess with me and not to mess with any women or children again in his life. And as hopeful as that is, we all know that the narcissist doesn't change. They just find a different victim. But it was just such a great video. So if you have found yourself asking, does a narcissist turn a person into a narcissist? Because I was wondering that. Did I take on some of those narcissistic traits? No, I think mine were always there. I was just saving them for the right person. Because I will refuse to step out of my integrity, out of my morality, and out of my principality. I've always refused. I will not do something out of spite or revenge. I'm not a vengeful person at all. I'm more like I'll cut off somebody from my life and move on and thrive, and that's my revenge. But when I was dealing with somebody like this, it was no way. You're gonna get a taste of your own medicine, was what was in my mind. And if you've caught yourself in the same scenario and you just have no explanation for what's going on or why you're so set on repaying them for all of their bad deeds, watch that video by Knowing the Narcissist, and it is entitled Empath Supernova. I hope you guys watch that. I hope you can make sense of what's going on in your situation, and if you have anything to add, please leave your comment down below. I hope this helps somebody out there, and thank you for watching. Bye.